Submittal management usually involves three different participants in the overall process of capturing and approving submittals. The first is the construction manager. It's his responsibility to create a submittal registry which contains all of the items that the different submitters have to send in for approval. The second is the contractor. The contractor receives a list of items that they have to submit from the construction manager and then has to prepare the documents and send them into the construction manager for review. Finally, the architect and the designer is responsible for reviewing the content of every item submitted so they can make sure that it meets the contract's specifications for the project. Let's take a look at how this process works. First of all, the general contractor or construction manager is responsible for building a comprehensive list of items that need to be submitted. This is usually called a submittal registry. Frequently on a project there can easily be over 1,000 items that need to be submitted and reviewed for each construction project. They're usually broken down by divisions of the type of work being performed on the project. As you can see here on the left side, they've created a folder for each of the major divisions that are going to be used on this project. After they've done that, each folder will contain the specific items that need to be submitted by the subcontractor performing the work for that division. Once the general contractor or construction manager has the submittal registry complete, the next step is to put some detailed information on there around the scheduling and who is responsible for submitting the information. So here you can see that we've got two submitters, Andrew Abbott and Abby Anderson from Acme Contracting, who are responsible for submitting the chiller unit data sheet. We can see the specific dates that they're due, and that makes it easy for the people to understand what work has to be done. After each of the items has been scheduled and assigned to a specific submitter, the next step is to actually notify the submitter that they are supposed to submit the documents back to the general contractor and construction manager. The PDM system makes it very easy for the contractor to receive an email indicating that there is a number of items for them to review and then for them to quickly access the documents via the PDM system. Now once they've identified the different documents that have to be submitted, their next task is to really go locate the information that has to be submitted. And here's where our partnership with McGraw-Hill Construction and the Suites Network really starts to shine. As you can see here, if we're supporting or submitting a document from Georgia Pacific, we can go to the website, search for the information, and find the submittal item documents right in the Suites network. Once we've located the documents, we can simply drag and drop the documents from the Suites website straight into the PDM system so they can be submitted to the general contractor for review. Once we drag and drop the files up there, we can see the files are in the actual submittal item, and when we're ready we can press the OK button or add additional files. Very often there's more than one file that would have to be approved for each submittal item. In this case it's just a single file, so the subcontractor would press the OK button and the information would be routed and sent back to the construction manager for review. The construction manager is simply looking to make sure that the documents that have been received match what they requested. They do not look at the actual content of the submitter and try to compare it to the specifications of the project. That, in fact, is the job of the architect. However, frequently, the construction manager, if the information is correct, will actually stamp in the document, as they call it. And stamping in usually means putting a cover page or stamp directly on the documents that have been submitted to indicate the date it was received and that they believe that it has been reviewed and is ready for the acceptance or the approval by the architect or the consultant and engineers. Once the general contractor and CM has completed the stamp-in process, they will then transfer the information to the reviewer to be reviewed by the approvers, the architects and the design team. The first thing the architect and the design team is going to do, of course, is look at the content of the specific submitted item and make sure that it actually verifies against the specifications of the project. They're looking to make sure that if, for example, the air conditioning was spec'd to be a 2-ton unit, that in fact the information provided and that the document relates to a 2-ton air conditioning unit. Once the process of the architect and the designers is completed and they've looked at the document, they will usually also stamp the document with an accepted or a rejected stamp indicating their preference for that object. So then our architect and the design team, when they're done with that, will then return the object, the submittal item, back to the construction manager. The construction manager, assuming that the item has been accepted, will go ahead and then issue the approved or the accepted submittal items to the construction team and allow the ordering of materials and equipment and the proceeding of construction. In some situations, the architect or the design team will not like information about the items that were submitted. And in this case, they may reject the items and send it back to the construction manager. And in this situation, the overall process starts all over again. Now, the nice thing at the end of this whole process, there would be a nice list. As you can see on the left side here, we're looking at this unit, we can see all of the different steps that these documents went through. The individual documents and the markups that may indicate why the item was rejected are all available for review by the entire design team and the construction team. With a few clicks, you could easily walk through and see the document was submitted. You could see the notes on why it was rejected. You could see the document as it was resubmitted, and then hopefully the overall approval and the stamped document, which is the final copy that will be eventually closed out and sent to the owner. The PDM system makes it very easy for the construction manager, the submitter, the contractor, and the architect to quickly collaborate back and forth electronically instead of sending paper documents back and forth. The overall process is very simple. The players can simply drag and drop documents into the system and update it. They can very quickly send the information to other people for collaboration. For example, very often the architect or designer may have a special engineer that they would like to review the documents. The overall system makes it significantly easier for the overall construction project team to get all of the approvals submitted, reviewed, and accepted. Some of the benefits of the PDM submittal benefits are that it's easy to use, drag and drop. The users can quickly learn how to do it. They've done it just like they have in Windows for years. It's very fast. And sometimes on a project we can see 10 or 12 submittal items be approved in a single day, whereas in the past it would easily take days and possibly weeks. It saves a lot of money. Frequently in the past, the documents would have been packaged up in 3-ring binders. There would have been made 5 or 6 copies, and they'd be FedExed to the various members to be reviewed and accepted rather than sent electronically. The other nice thing is when you're done, the PDM system gives you a comprehensive location where all the information necessary is available in one electronic format. Everybody on the project knows that they can go to PDM, sign the drawings, the specs, and now all of the submittals. The final thing, and probably one of the most important things from the owner's standpoint, is that the PDM submittal processing allows for a very efficient and a very complete closeout. All the documents are stored electronically, so at the end of the project, the construction manager can simply select the project, select the documents you want to close out, press a button, and transfer all of the files that have been collected during the entire project onto a CD, a hard drive, or transfer them electronically to the owner's facilities management system. We hope you like the simple overview on the PDM submittal process, and we look forward to having you review some of the more comprehensive presentations on how you can actually work the PDM operational processes.